Hello gorgeous, I'm going on a walk. I've colored my hair, did my chores, I shaved down my dog's nails. Now with my Koopa, you know, I didn't use the freaking one that I bought at. Okay, I want to talk about that real quick. I know they sell e-files for dogs, but bruh, I mean yes, but bruh, I don't know. I just used my nail drill. I brought it home and it works fine. But anyway, I want to go ahead and talk about something because it's on my mind. I was just giving you a little bit of life update. I'm practicing a lot more on nails and things like that, but I want to give you all some thoughts, some unfiltered thoughts while I go on this beautiful walk. Okay, I am like, so y'all know that I started the series and I noticed that everyone be starting things, okay, and how the progressions are happening. So I'm talking about astrology magic, you know, like there's no tomorrow, talking about the synchronicities. You know how in art, you know how artists will see a vision and then they go gather the supplies. They don't know where they're gonna gather the supplies, but they just know that they're gonna gather the supplies. That there's some side music playing anyway. So intuition can be like that, astrology can be like that too, and it can look very conspiratorial, but if it fits, it fits. But as long as the science ends up, if you end up finding the data research in order for it to work out in your favor, that's not a bad thing. That's actually like a really good thing. Like it can be, I guess, if you will, like it can seem like it's kind of going everywhere, or like you're like, what the heck is going on, like, you know, like, does this really fit? But it does. I promise you, like, it might not make sense right now, but notate it down and it will end up making sense in the end. Okay, like sometimes spirit will take months to reveal things. Sometimes astrology, like the planetary, remember, they're primordial. They're literally primordial. Like they're planetary energies. Okay, they work on cyclical energies anyway. But I wanted to go ahead and discuss, now that we're more alone, right? Why am I, out of all the new beginnings, I'm talking about the portal magic of it all, because I just feel like people like to box things in, or even I found myself, I'm taking accountability. I boxed myself in, or I boxed my willpower in, right? Because us being born on that day, right, it's going to affect our transits very uniquely. We'll also have more access to the transits a little bit. But the Cancer Leo portal, as an example, right, since it's the sun and moon, right, like it's like if you were born under this portal, you also get access to information, maybe the Akashic records and things like that. You know, you will just, because you're starting off with, you know, parents number 2 and 1 and not 1 and 2 but 2 and 3, because original parental figure was Saturn, right? Like older parental figure was Saturn, back when Saturn potentially may have been feminine. That, if you believe in that, okay, cool. If you don't, okay, cool. I'm not here to discuss that today, but I just wanted to like tell y'all, like, okay, so all right, so to the portals, the synchronicity, like your magic is going to be transcendental, or sometimes it'll move slow, sometimes it'll move fast, or it can feel very cocoony, okay, for cusp magic collective people. But if you decide to actually like take hold of the magic and go follow through with the synchronicities and the signs, right, you tap into, you know, energetic alignment, knowledge that might not make sense to the average person, but we all have limits, right? We all have minds. So, you know, what you fill your mind with matters, because I mean, we're not limitless. Like, you'll notice that you probably go through memory loss, bro, okay, of the previous life that you lived, and it could feel like a previous life, and that could be like if you did a career change or something like that, but because it really be feeling like we'd be living multiple lives. But back to the portal. Okay, so a lot of people like to underestimate the liminal spaces. Like, there are things right now, this is my physical hand, but there's a shadow that I'm not like paying attention, that I don't see right now, but it still exists, right? And that would be a liminal space, okay? And also like mirror dimensions or pocket dimensions or things like that, those are liminal spaces. And you know, besides the fact that Hecate, you know, and I respect that with so much, does govern this area, like pay attention to why. Like if it's the keys to creation, or if it's the keys, like liminal spaces, is because, like, let's put up physical representation. So there's a creator on here that mentioned that we used to get shine from Saturn, and then one day, you know, the sun said, oh hell no, and then we had, you know, night and day, and now the sun was shining. But if a person was alive, and when the rays of Saturn were shining like a sun, like a literal sun, or a big star, right? If that's going on, and then they live through, experience, embody, and go through the energetic alignment of, now suddenly the moon and the sun are taking over, or the sun, I guess you should say, is taking over, and saying like, no, I'm gonna be the sunshine, and we're gonna have duality, right? that person or those people and all those spirits and all that energy, right? That, like, picture that you one day, like, the earth, doesn't really have a nightfall, and is having sunshine, but Saturn shine, I guess you should say, and just like constant in waves, right? The way the elements are working are unique, as the planet is still being nourished. We don't really know what living energy is here, but people have theories of what kind of energy could have been there, right? Water remembers that, and so does Earth, by the way, side note. And Saturn remembers that too. The planets remember that. Anyway, I'm on to something. Okay. Anyway, so the reason I bring all that up is because that would be like a pocket or a mirror, or just because we no longer see or feel the rays of Saturn on our body doesn't mean that it's not still affecting us to this day, but it's become now invisible in plain sight, like in a mirror dimension or a pocket dimension, as an example. This is what I've been thinking about. So cusp magic, portal magic, or portal people, cusp people, right? When you are born, you feel a similar experience. You think a similar way. You know of similar times. You remember, like, because you happen to be born and near, a very important time in magic, when there's like a crossover, a transition happening, or a liminal space opened up, a portal opened up, and now you're able to have all that sight, even though you're traveling, right? But portals do what they do best. They are gonna have you travel. Anyway, so I just wanted to kind of like bring that up there, like, because I know that in everyday life it may seem mundane or weird, or you might feel like, oh, just like crazy things just happen to me. It's like, no, you're not living a normal experience, but you think you do. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Go ahead and subscribe if this is content that interests you. I'm gonna go ahead and make another video. The next portal that we're gonna be discussing is more than likely gonna be, the next one coming up, which is Leo Virgo axis. But I'll wait a little bit before I post that one. All right, love you.